Hello everybody and welcome back to the Big Joey channel, and today we're going to be doing our predictor challenge, or my predictions for this week. So let's dive straight into this. Right off the back, first we have Falcons win by at least 7 points. So Falcons are coming off a win against the Titans, but it's Titans without Marcus Mariota. I think the Falcons are going to go hang up some points on them. The Dolphins have not looked good this season. We're going to true it. Falcons are always coming off some bad luck with Mohamed Sanu and Julio getting injured. But I think this week, them healthy, they should contribute. Matt Ryan, 250 yards and 1 touchdown. True. You look what Drew Brees did to that defense, and you got to say, look, he has about the equal amount of weapons. You think he's going to get some big yards. Vikings win. I'm going to false this because Vikings are again without Sam Bradford. I know Case Keenum has done a great job standing in. They're without Sam Bradford, and they're without Stephon Diggs this week. So Stephon Diggs has been a big part of that offense. Latavius Murray has at least 100-plus combined rushing and receiving yards. Now this one I'm a little split on because Latavius Murray, let's go look at the last game the Packers played against the Cowboys. So we're going to go see how Latavius Murray did. We're going to see how the Packers held up against a running back. So they allowed Ezekiel Elliott to rush 116 yards and receive 16 yards. So they've been pretty solid. I mean, that's a lot of rushing yards. But let's see if what Latavius Murray has done. So where are the Vikings at? Unless the Vikings, they only won by 3 points last week against the Bears, and Latavius Murray had 31 rushing yards. He wasn't even the number one back. Jerick McKinnon had 16 rushes for 95 yards and 6 receptions for 51 yards. So I think it's safe to say this is going to be a false. Unless anything crazy changes, Latavius Murray is not looking like he's going to go off this game. Saints win by at least 4 points against the Lions. Lions are coming off a very close loss to the Panthers. It was a close game. They almost came back at the end. You know, they missed a big stop, and they were unable to capitalize. So if you look at the Lions from last week, they lost by 3 points. And where are the Saints at? I think the Saints were on bye week. Yeah, Saints did not play. Saints are coming off a bye. So they both have a big game ahead of them. These are two teams. So I'm just looking up a little bit more things about the Saints this game. Just to be 100, you know, the Saints over here have the home field advantage at this game. So, you know, I got to give it to the Saints. The Saints have owned the Lions recently. Alvin Kamara is looking really good. Willie Snead and Teron Armstead are coming back. Adrian Peterson's gone, so Alvin Kamara no longer has to worry about that. I'm going to true this. I think the Saints are going to hang up some points. I think it's going to be a close game, but, you know, Drew Brees being the quarterback that he is, I think they get the win by at least 4 points. So on to the next. Michael Thomas has at least 85 receiving yards. And Michael Thomas, I believe the last game they actually played, he did go off. And they gave a big yardage to Kelvin Benjamin last game. So I'm going to true it. Michael Thomas has looked great. He's going to get some open looks. Patriots win by at least 10 points. I'm going to false this. I think this is going to be a closer game than people expect. I'm going to false it because the Jets play the Patriots hard. One of those teams that it's a division game, and they play them hard. Tom Brady's coming off that shoulder injury. Josh McCown has at least 2 touchdowns. I'm going to true that. Josh McCown honestly hasn't looked bad for this team. They're 3-2. after starting 0-2, and Josh McCown isn't playing terrible. And that Patriots defense isn't exactly the greatest. Redskins win by at least 10 points. Well, I would say the Redskins are the better team here. Is it a 10-point game? Yeah. The 49ers haven't looked good at all. They lost to the Colts in overtime. And the Redskins are just the better team. Chris Thompson has a combined 100 rushing and receiving yards. So let's go look up Chris Thompson. I know I played against him in fantasy, and I don't think he did that hot last week. But actually, what a better indicator is, what did Marlon Mack do to them on the ground? So they allowed 91 yards rushing, 48 to Frank Gore, and Marlon Mack had 1 reception for 2 yards. Frank Gore had 3 receptions for 38 yards. So they do give up yards on the ground. Redskins were on bye week. So let's go look up. Oops. The real question is, are we going to see Marlon Mack as the featured back? Are we going to see Rob Kelly as the featured back? Trying to find the week before where the Redskins played the Chiefs. There we go. Okay, so let's go look at the box score here. So Chris Thompson only put up 23 yards rushing and 4 yards receiving. You know, their main rusher was Kirk Cousins, Samaj Pernine, and then Rob Kelly. So I don't see it. We're going to go ahead and false this. They just have too many backs for one guy. I mean, it's possible that Chris Thompson goes off, but I don't think they will. Ravens win by 7 points. True. They still have Mitchell Trubisky and he did fine last week, but this Bears team is just not good. Mike Wallace has at least 75 yards receiving. I don't know how he did last week. So we just rate. Nope, wrong one. We're just going to hop on the phone. Just have NFL.com open just for all the scores. Last week, Ravens, they beat the Raiders last week by 13. And Mike Wallace had 3 receptions for 133 yards. It's safe to say he puts up 75 yards this game? I think it's true. I think it's going to be maybe like 2 receptions for over 75, but Mike Wallace is one of those guys. Texans win by at least 10 points. You know me. But bias aside, Deshaun Watson has put up 10 total touchdowns in 2 games. Browns have no wins. It's safe to say I think they win by 10 points. Clowney has at least 1 sack. I think Clowney steps up big this game. I know he didn't practice, but I think he knows how important this game is. The game after you lost Merciless and Watt to go in and just have a big game. Buccaneers at Cardinals. Do the Buccaneers win at Arizona by at least 3 points? I think they do. Cardinals are coming off a big loss against the Eagles, and that Cardinals team looked very vulnerable. The Buccaneers played really well against the Patriots, a lot better than I thought. I think they do win by at least 3 points. Chris Johnson has at least 1 touchdown. Unfortunately, Chris Johnson has been cut from the team, so that's a false. That's a freebie. Chris Johnson was cut in wake of the Adrian Peterson trade. Jaguars win by at least 3 points. I like the Rams team here. They gave up big against the they kind of choked against the Seahawks, and the Jaguars came up big against the Steelers. You know what? I'm going to true this. I hate the Jaguars. This is a division rival. But I think they win by at least 3 points. Does Leonard Fournette put 125 combined rushing and receiving? I think the real question is we have to look at that Rams defense from last week. How many yards did they give up? They gave up Not very many rushing yards. They were a very stout group, but the Seahawks don't exactly have a run game. And then we go look at on the opposite side, the Jaguars. Leonard Fournette put up some big yards. He put up 181 rushing yards to go along with 3 receptions. I think it's safe to say Leonard Fournette's going to put up some big yards this game. And even if he doesn't make it up in rushing, I think he'll get the receiving yards to make it up. Chiefs win by at least 4. I think the Chiefs got this. Chiefs came off a big win last week against the Texans. Disappointing. But the Chiefs have just been the best team in the NFL. Chiefs get the win against the Steelers. Alex Smith has at least 27 completions. I don't think Alex Smith has thrown that many passes this year. So I'm just going to check Alex Smith's stats. I don't think he has. And this guy he could throw the ball. He hasn't been terrible throwing the ball. He's been one of the better. He's been, I'd say, one of the best. He threw 29 passes against the Texans. I think you know what? I didn't know he had threw that many passes last week, and I think it's going to be true again because the Steelers have a worse defense than the Texans. Big Ben has at least 250 passing yards. He's coming off a bad week, a very, very bad week against the Jaguars. And that's a good Jaguars defense. Their cornerbacks are solid. He has Antonio Brown, but they have Marcus Peters. The Chiefs gave up how many yards to Deshaun Watson? They gave up 261 yards to Deshaun Watson on 16 for 31 on some big plays. And Big Ben on the other end threw for a whopping. Big Bortles threw for 95 yards. And Big Ben threw for 313 yards last game. I think it's safe to say he's going to put up some yards. I actually need to go trade in. I'll come back to that. But I think it's true. Big Ben will put up at least 250. Raiders win. Okay, looks like I'm going to have to go get some more trues. Okay, false to true. I'll probably get like 5, 1. Two. 3. 4. And 5. Okay, let's head back down there. Okay, Big Ben, 250 plus yards. Yeah. Even if I think they get blown out, regardless of what happens, even if they're garbage time yards, 250 yards to 250 yards, Raiders win. I think I have to check up on the status of Derek Carr because I think he's still out. Okay, so let's go look at this ahead to this matchup. This is Raiders versus Chargers. Raiders win. So let's go take a look at this. I believe Derek Carr is still out. So I'm just going to click on the link really quick to see 3 things to watch. Okay, so Derek Carr is hopeful to play. It should be noted he practiced on a limited basis both Wednesday and Thursday. There's 2 really good pass rushers on that team, in Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram, obviously. I do think that I think the Raiders take it. They had what could have been a close game last game. It was really decided on the Jared Cook fumble is what killed them. Mario Edwards has at least 1 sack. I don't know how Mario Edwards has played this game, but played all season, but that Chargers line has been better than I thought. Last week, I guess that he would get sacked by Jason Pierre-Paul. He did not. And let's go look at the Raiders against the Ravens. So, They had no sacks last week. Mariota's only had 2 tackles, so I'm going to false that. Raiders had no sacks. They're not to say they won't get any sacks, but I don't think Mario Edwards is going to be the guy. Phillip Rivers has at least 2 touchdown passes, oh definitely. Phillip Rivers is definitely going to throw 2 touchdowns. Giants at Broncos. Broncos win by at least 12 points. The Giants are just depleted right now. They've lost Brandon Marshall. They've lost Odell Beckham. That's their 2 top receiving yards. They have Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram. Giants and Broncos score at least 40 points. Yeah, I think the Broncos are going to put up most of the points, but the Giants might put up 7, 14. T. Anderson is at a combined. They're coming off a bye week. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick look through these. Yeah, I think that's true. True. False. I could false that. There's no way these 2 bad teams put up 42 points. You know what? Let's see. These guys are bad. Both of them are bad teams. Last week, we know the Colts put up 26 points. Titans put up 10. So combined between those 2 teams last week, they put up 36. Marcus Mariota, I don't think he's back. I guess I have to check on the status of Marcus Mariota. He's uncertain to play. So what? They have to both put up, what is that? 21 points apiece? Actually, that's not that bad. Oh, I can see it happening. DeMarco Murray has at least 1 touchdown, definitely. T.Y. Hilton has at least 100 yards, definitely. So I guess I'm truing the rest of these. So I guess I can go trade in all of those. Huh. The thing about all those, they all seem likely. They're both 2 bad teams. Last week, the Colts and 49ers accounted for a 26-23 game, so that's 49 points. Yeah, the Titans only put up 10 against the Dolphins, but that's just 21 points apiece. It's not that bad. When you really think about it. So it's not hard to see both those teams put up 21 points. God dang, how many false do I have? I always feel like I end up with a ton of false. There we go. Okay, it's not hard to see 2 bad teams put up 21 points apiece. So C.J. Anderson, 100-plus yards. Definitely. Giants benched Eli Apple last week. They suspended Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. They just don't have the corners. Their linebackers are subpar. That's all I have to say about that. Their defense is just not that great. Titans win the game. I think Titans win. Colts are a bad team. Colts are coming off a win. Don't get me wrong with Jacoby Brissett. Wait. Hold up. Colts at Titans? Yeah. Titans win that game. Total points at least 42. Yeah. 21 apiece is not too hard to see. DeMarco Murray has at least 1 touchdown. Yes. That Colts defense cannot stop the run. And T.Y. Hilton went off last week, and I think he'll go off this week. So that is going to be it for these predictors. As always, these are just my opinion of what I think is going to happen. Nothing, you never know what's going to happen in the NFL, so I could just give my best opinion on what I think is going to happen. We do know that I've been on a slump these last couple weeks. Just crazy things have been happening. Injuries, crazy injuries have been happening. So I've been on a slump. I'm hoping to get back at it this week. Also, I'm replacing my Tuesday reactions with some gaming content now. It wasn't getting that much love, the reactions, so every Wednesday now I'm going to be uploading some gameplay of, I'm just going to be uploading gameplay. It could be Fortnite, it could be Madden, it could be Smite. I just want to get some gaming in because right now, I only have the pack openings. I have this. So, throwing a little gameplay back on the gaming channel probably would be a good idea. So, as always, if you enjoy these videos, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends. Getting exposure for me goes a long way in the content creator community. And, always thanks for watching. And as always, this is Big Joey signing off.